Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to stick to Sweden and we're going to review yet another beer that was released through the local and small assortment beers on the 1st of April 2019 from Systembolaget here in Sweden. So for this one we are going to go across to Blenkinge county, which is just next to me here in Skåne in the very south of Sweden, and we're having a taste of my second beer from Bryggeri Skeppsgossen. So this one is called the Rosen. It comes in at 5.2% ABV, and Systembolaget is describing this one as a black lager beer. So this one will be somewhat akin either to a German Schwarzbier or to a Czech Tmavé. Even those two kind of sub-styles, if you like, are fairly closely related. But it should be a very, very interesting beer. This one is a style that I really quite enjoy, but it's one that you don't come across too often from the new wave of craft breweries. So very much looking forward to trying this one, and as always I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer. Very curious to see how this one turns out. If you've watched my channel before, you will know that I love the German styles of beer, and the last beer that I reviewed from Skeppsgossen was actually a Untappd or something like that it was called. I couldn't quite pronounce the name of the last one, but very much looking forward to this, and as always I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery before we taste the beer. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Skeppsgossen Brewery before. No doubt I will add some more in the fairly near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the home page and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlists of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Swedish beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Skeppsgossen Brewery then. So Skeppsgossen, as I mentioned to you, are based in Karlskrona, which is kind of like the capital city, if you like, of Blenkinge County. So the company was founded as a restaurant by Joachim Bengtsson and Camilla Rosengren back in 2009, but they began brewing beer in April 2015 to sell in the restaurant, but they've since been selling the beers, like bottling them and selling them through Systembolaget. Apparently they brew using a 3-vial system that has a capacity of 600 to 700 litres per brew, so it is a very, very small scale of brewing that you'll get from these guys. And the current brewer that they have is Masse Tolstam, but there wasn't too much information available on this brewery when I made the notes. I had a little check at beernews.se to have a look and see if there was anything new had come out from them, but yeah, apparently at the moment there's not too much more information, so just a very, very short information section for you on this brewery, if you like. So yeah, a very, very small brewery, and as I always say, I do enjoy introducing you guys to the very small Swedish breweries here on the channel, because you really can unearth some real gems here, and I enjoyed the Christmas bock that I had from them before. So yeah, if you get the chance to try some of their beers, have a go at them. Blenkinge, of course, very, very pretty part of Sweden. It's somewhere that I need to go and explore a little bit more. I have been in briefly, but I do need to go and explore it just a little bit more at some point in the fairly near future. But yeah, let's get on to the actual tasting of this beer itself. If you want to learn a little bit more about the brewery and the restaurant, you can follow them on Facebook and Untappd and Twitter and things like that, Instagram, and that'll keep you up to date with all the latest goings on and all the latest beer releases as well. They do seem to be fairly prolific these days, actually. There's a fair few releases coming through Systembolaget these days. But yeah, as I mentioned at the start of the video, this one is a 5.2% Schwarzbier or Czech Tmavé. We're not quite sure exactly yet, but a black lager nonetheless. It's hopped with Magnum and Sladek hops with a malt base of black, Pilsner and caramel. Just so you know, Sladek hop, this is the first encounter I think I've had with them. This is a Czech variety that was first bred back in 1994, and apparently it's a cross between Northern Brewer and the Czech Sats, which is a hop that most of us will have heard of if you are a little bit of a beer nerd. But yeah, let's get on to the actual tasting of this beer itself and see how we get on. So just mainly with the fact that this one is using Czech hops, I'm going to guess straight off that it is it's going to be more along the lines of a Czech Tmavé, and especially if it's got those slightly sweeter malty qualities to it. But yeah, there you can see, again, really, really nice artwork from Skeppsgossen Brewery. I mean, I was impressed the last time with the Untappd or whatever it was called. I just still can't pronounce the name of that beer. But the bock beer that I had from them before was very, very nice. But yeah, plain bottle cap on this one, as I'm sure was the case with the last one. And there you can see the Skeppsgossen Bryggeri symbol on this one. But very, very nice looking beer that. So without further ado, let's get this guy out and we will get on with the tasting. I'm very curious just to see how this guy turns out. So yeah, as I discussed, this is actually the, obviously wanting to explode a little bit, this is the second Schwarzbier that I'm actually reviewing for you in the space of about a week or something like that, I guess I would say. I'm not sure exactly when I'll publish these videos, but yeah, it was kind of surprising. As I said, the Schwarzbier and the Tmavé, it's not a style that you find too many breweries having a go at these days, although the German styles of beer do actually tend to be fairly popular in Sweden. So, as I always say in these reviews, if you're watching in Sweden and you know a brewery that's particularly good with the German styles of beers, namely the Helles, the Dunkel, the Schwarzbier, or indeed the Doppelbock or the Rauch beers even, I really love my German traditional beer, so please do give me some recommendations for those in the description below. There was a request for more Skeppsgossen Bryggeri reviews by someone. I apologise, I can't remember the name because there's quite a lot of comments coming these days, but there was a request for me to take a look at some of the other Skeppsgossen Bryggeri beers, and here we are. But yeah, as you can see with this beer, it's poured a lovely, dark, kind of ebony rosewood colour. If you hold it up to the light, it's actually got a nice ruby edge to it. But this one, it is actually quite hazy. This, again, if you hold it up to the light, it does have a good bit of a hazy edge to it. There's a half finger of a frothy, I would say kind of fawn, very slightly beige head to this one. And you can see, if you sugar the beer up a little bit, you do start to get more out of it. But one or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and a few little ones just heading up towards the bottom of that head there. But you know, overall it does look really pretty nice actually, not out of the realms of possibility for a Schwarzbier or Tmavé, but I would say just a little touch more red than some of the ones that I've come across right enough, but that could well just be the sort of haziness that this beer has. But let's take a closer look at the aroma and just see how we get on with this one then. Oh, again, and I said this with the recent, the Black Lager of Death that I reviewed from Strömsholmsbryggers. This one, again, I'm going to guess from the aroma that this is more along the lines of a Czech Tmavé, and this is kind of interesting because, you know, I only really got into Czech beers over the summer when I was actually visiting there. But yeah, with this one, I would say it's got a lovely bready malt base to it. You can really pick up some of that nice, almost brown, bready malt to the beer. It's got a lovely kind of brown, sugary sweetness to it as well. It's almost like like a honey brown bread or something like that. It's got a very nice, slightly toasty, caramelly brown sugar note to it. There's definitely a little bit of a biscuity sweetness in there as well, but a lot of nice kind of brown bready, almost like German pumpernickel bread coming out of this one actually. So yeah, a lovely aroma to it, this beer, I have to say. You can definitely pick up a little bit of the toast, the kind of roasty black malts that you would expect in this beer. You can pick up that on the back end, but to me this one comes across as being very, very bready and very kind of sweet actually. I really like the way the aroma goes together on this one. Yeah, so just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of this beer before you get stuck into it. It really is very nice. On the hoppy side of things then, for me, this one has a nice little, it has a little touch of a slightly sweet earthiness, which is what you would expect both from you would expect that from the Sats hop. I'm forgetting, it says Sladek and Magnum they've used in this one. So this one has the Magnum. From what I remember, you can get Magnum grown all over the place, but Magnum is slightly higher in alpha acid compared to the traditional sort of noble hops, if you like the Sats. So this one, to me, it's definitely got a little bit of that earthiness, but the floral character is a little bit more pronounced in this one. But although that said, with it, the two hops that are in this one do have a considerable noble hop quality to them, but there is a little bit of spice, which I would guess is more coming from the Magnum in this one. But there's a nice, quite pungent, grassy quality to this beer, again, which is quite nice. It makes the beer seem quite fresh, but the most dominant factor of the aroma in this one, I would say, is the malt base actually. It's got a really nice blend of flavours in it, this one. So yeah, some nice juicy fruity notes. You've got a little bit of oh, the dog's going crazy. You've got a nice little bit of a kind of, I would say, a sort of red fruity element to it. I don't know, is it right to say yeah, it's almost like a kind of candied strawberry or something like that. There is a little element of a slightly blackberry, blueberry kind of thing going on there as well. But I would say a sort of candied strawberry flavour, a little bit of these kind of almost figgy notes as well, which is kind of interesting. So you have just got a little bit of this kind of mild red fruity note coming out of the beer, which is very, very nice, I have to say. So yeah, just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of this one before you get stuck in. To me, this is quite a big bready and quite sweet smelling Schwarzbier. And I do think, if we're going to talk about the two sub-styles here, I think it will lean more towards the Czech Tmavy rather than the German Schwarzbier, but we'll see how we get on with this one. So let's get stuck into this one beer then. This one is the Rosen, a Schwarzbier, black lager, Czech Tmavy, however you want to describe it, coming in at 5.2% from Bryggeri Skeppsgossen in Karlskrona in Blenkinge here in the south of Sweden. Let's get stuck into this one. Slange, skål. Yeah, I'll say again, definitely more of a Czech Tmavy, this one. Although in fairness, when you start to move into the aftertaste is a little bit more like a Schwarzbier. For me, the key difference between the Czech versions and the German ones, I've always said that the German ones are a little bit more roasty and toasty, if you like, whereas the Czech ones were always a little bit more smoother and bready and leaning a bit more towards the sweet side of things. This one, in fairness, actually has a bit of both in it, which is quite nice. You know, it's a little bit of a hybrid. Although in my opinion, I would say it does lean more towards the Czech side of things than the German side of things. It's a lovely beer, this. If you like the style, then I think you will enjoy this one. I mean, let's be straight up about this. If you're wanting, these big hoppy beasts of IPAs and things like that, then this one it's probably not going to be your favourite beer, this. But if you like the traditional German styles, as I do, my friend Pete over at the Clueless Drinker, he loves the German traditional styles as well. These are the sort of beers that we really always enjoy. My whole love of beer started with the Bamberg Rauch beers, and then it evolved into everything else. And it was when I was in Czech in the summer that I really started to get into the Tmavies a little bit. And it's a style that's really grown on me over the last little while. I got really into the German Helles when I was in Heidelberg, living in Heidelberg. Recently, Peter got me back into the Dunkels as well, and I've always loved a good Doppelbock and a good Rauch beer. So the Tmavy, the Tmavy and the Schwarzbiers really have been growing on me in recent times, and I'm glad that I'm able to find a couple of Swedish breweries that are brewing these. That's the thing that's very, very cool about this beer. It's a more unusual style that you're not going to come across all that often. Unless you know where to look, of course. So as I say, do let me know any recommendations you have for other Swedish breweries that are brewing specifically German styles. It'd be cool to review some of those beers. But yeah, with this beer then, let's try and break down the flavour a little bit then. So you can feel there's a nice bready smoothness just blanket in the middle of your tongue there. You can feel that as the middle of your palate dries out a little bit with this beer, and you can feel there's some nice roasty black malts just underpinning this one. As you move further into the aftertaste, it starts to lean a little bit more towards the roasty black malt side of things. But as I say, nice kind of almost brown bready quality just blanket in the middle of your tongue. There is a degree of sweetness in the middle of your palate here. It's quite a toasty brown sugary note that comes out of this one, and you can feel some of those black malts just pushing their way out in the centre of the palate as well. And the further you go into the aftertaste, a little bit of biscuity sweetness with this one. I really like how I do like how all these kind of flavours go together. There is a little touch of a slight woodiness, I think, to this one, maybe even a little bit of nuttiness. If you go to the very centre of your palate, then move forward, you'll feel there is just a little teeny bit of nuttiness there, and then there's a little touch of woody quality coming out of the beer from the sides of the palate as well. But overall, it is a very, very nice malt base that this one has. It's quite a thick, with the hazy. The sort of haziness that this beer has, you could tell that it was going to be a nice sort of thick, bready sort of thing. So to me, this beer most definitely leans towards the kind of Czech Tmavy side of things in terms of its malt base. But that said, you do get a little bit more kind of roasty, toasty quality out of this beer the further you go into the aftertaste, which is what you would expect from the German ones. I've always found the German Schwarzbiers are slightly more roasty than the Czech Tmavies. But yeah, I do like how this one goes together. It's very nicely done. So yeah, in terms of the hoppy side of things then, it's pretty much what you'd expect. Back corners of the palate, you've got a nice, quite smooth earthiness in there. I like how that goes together. It builds a good bridge between the sort of bready malt base with this beer, but as you go further forward along the sides of the tongue, you can feel a nice little touch of the earthiness just kind of spreading further forward, but you've got a nice little bit of floral aromaticity on the front corners of the palate. It's quite a nice noble floral quality, but then round the very front curve of the palate you've got that lighter kind of grassy note in there, and again it's really nice and quite noble. The Magnum hop, it depends on where it's grown, you can get them being a little bit more spicy than others, but I'm finding that in this beer the hoppy qualities, the green side of the hops at least, the grassiness and the floral quality is rather noble, and it complements the beer very, very well. It's a very kind of traditional type beer, this one. It's not doing anything sort of new world and crafty with the style, it's just wanting to be a very, very solid Schwarzbier, Tmavi sort of thing, if you like, and that's exactly what you want. So thumbs up to Skeppsgossen for this one. They've, in my mind, created quite an authentic Czech Tmavi with this beer. In terms of the fruity side of the beer then, that's where it's quite interesting. So yeah, for me, there's a little teeny touch of a slightly figgy note to this one, but it's quite a candied red fruit note that comes out of this beer. It tastes a little bit like those heart-shaped sweets that you get from the Haribo Star Mix, but maybe not quite as sharp, a little bit more juicy, and really more leaning towards the figgy side of things here. It's a nice complement. All the flavours in this beer just go together very, very well. It's one of these beers that just kind of keeps things simple, but it's just, you know, pretty well crafted, I have to say. So yeah, I mean, this beer, in terms of the Schwarzbier style, if you like the style, you are certainly going to enjoy this one. So just have a go at it for yourself and see what you think. But make sure you enjoy this style before you try this. If you're looking for a big, you know, beast imperial stout, imperial porter kind of thing with this beer, you're really not going to get that out of it. It's just a very, very solid black lager. This one really leaning more towards the Czech Tmavi side of the spectrum rather than the German Schwarzbier, in my opinion. But yeah, a solid beer this, and a thumbs up once again to the Bryggeri Skeppsgossen for this. In terms of the mouthfeel then, I would say yeah, this beer is quite mid-bodied. Carbonation is very, very smooth, although it does have a little bit of a crispness in the back end. There is a little touch of an oily quality to the mouthfeel here. I would say this one's definitely one of the more oily Tmavis that I've come across. Nice little bit of hoppy bitterness. I think you're looking around 30 IBUs in this beer, but there is a little bit of bitterness in the malt base as well. But the malt base has a really good balance between the smoothness, the sweetness, and that little bit of bitterness there. That's the thing I think is always key with a Schwarzbier. If you can get that balance well, then you're onto something. But yeah, I think that the malt base in this one is very, very well balanced, and you've just got a nice little bit of a juicy, fruity character in there as well. But yeah, this has got everything you'd want from the style, and you can't really ask for much more than that. And it's got some very nice artwork as well. So I have to say, my second experience from Bryggeri Skeppsgossen has also been very, very positive. So just have a go at this beer for yourself and see what you think. A really nice, pardon me, Czech Tmavi, German Schwarzbier type thing, but definitely more of a Czech Tmavi in my mind than it is a German Schwarzbier, as I've repeated a couple of times in the review. But yeah, let's leave it at that for this beer. This one was the Rosen, a lovely, lovely black lager beer at 5.2% from Bryggeri Skeppsgossen in Karlskrona over in Blenkinge here in the south of Sweden. A lovely beer, this one, and I'm really glad I was able to review it for you. So let's leave it at that. Once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Bryggeri Skeppsgossen as well, and I'm sure I'll return to these guys at some point in the near future, because I do like reviewing my traditional Czech and German beers. But thank you again for watching, and I will catch you guys very soon. Slàinte, skål.